Greetings to everyone at home and welcome back to the B-BBEE podcast with me, your host, Sandi Somi. If you've been with us for a while now, you know that we've spoken about a lot of elements of B-BBEE. We've spoken about enterprise and supplier development, we've spoken about fronting as well as the objectives of the Act. And today, we're going to talk about socio-economic development and how the Act itself makes provisions for socio-economic development spend. Now, we know that businesses are here to make a profit, and that is accepted. But also, we acknowledge the fact that companies have a role to play in developing the communities that they operate in. And so to unpack this today further with me, I have Mokgadi Motau from the Compliance Division in the B-BBEE Commission to chat to me all about socio-economic development. Thank you so much for joining me today. And perhaps we can start off the conversation about what socio-economic development entails. There's many definitions for it in the corporate and public sector space, but specifically to the B-BBEE Act, how does it define that?
It's an initiative whereby it should be income generative to the beneficiaries. So in this case, entities spend 1% of their net profit after tax to empower and give back to the community, whereby it's something that is income generative. So, for example, a lot of times socio-economic development is confused with CSIR.
Yes.
So, these are corporate social responsibilities. So, in this, the difference in this case is, when it's socio-economic development, it must leave the beneficiary with income generative initiatives, capacity, yes. So, for example, we can say there is a farmer in Limpopo there, so you give that farmer the 1% of your net profit after tax, whereby they grow spinach. Also, you connect that farmer with the nearest ShopRite boxer, whereby they can produce for ShopRite, and it leaves them with the market and also generating income for future endeavors. Also, another example in this case, it can be whereby you supply the ladies who knit. They make uniforms with a facility where they can operate there and make their uniform there. So it must be income generative.
Yeah.
So you get other initiatives whereby they say they bought learners bicycles that's going to help them to go to school. So it's a different initiatives all at once. So that's when we get to differentiate it between corporate social responsibility and socio-economic development. So in order for the government or the large entity to score points on socio-economic development, the 1% that's spent on the net profit after tax, it must be 75% of that amount must be spent on Black people in order for the entity to score points on socio-economic development.
And it's so good that it's attached to income generation, because it speaks to giving people, tangible things that they can use in future without that company. So that's very important. And who specifically is mandated to implement socio-economic development and responsibility?
Socio-economic development is one of the major elements when it comes to complying with the B-BBEE. Companies that are organs of state, JSE listed, companies that are verified, they have to comply with socio-economic development. So spending their 1% of the net profit after tax is compulsory for them to score points under that element. Yeah, so those are the entities that are supposed to implement and practice this initiative.
Yeah, and from all of the reports that the Commission receives, how much priority does this element of socio-economic development get from companies as opposed to all of the other 5 elements, or 4 elements rather, of the BEE Act?
It's actually very prioritized because it's one of the easiest element to achieve.
Yeah.
It's very easy to achieve socio-economic development. At times, it's also confused to other initiatives as indicated, but it's very easy for entities to achieve this socio-economic development because it's an easy element for them. In order for them to achieve this, it's 1% that should benefit entities. There was a man who came over who was given a grant in order to buy chickens for his farm in order to generate profit. So it can be done in many ways. Yes.
I know you touched on what socioeconomic development doesn't count as, but maybe you could expand more on how sometimes companies confuse what socioeconomic development is, and how the Commission has subsequently dealt with that sort of confusion.
So in this case, what are not initiatives of socioeconomic development? We can talk about whereby an entity says it supplied bicycles, it supplied uniforms to school kids, and that way it's not income generating. So when you say you practice the initiative of socioeconomic development, it must ensure that the beneficiary are generating income afterwards. So let's say there's a group of women in the Free State that makes uniforms for school children. So if you supply them with machinery, you supply them with grants, you supply them with property where they can make the uniform. That way they are able to continue in the future to continue making the uniform for other upcoming kids and generate income and also create employment at the end. So that way it is socio-economic development if it generates income for them even after you have left and you're not offering the same entity the following year. Yeah. So also, in order for the state-owned or the large entities to score points on socio-economic development, it must ensure that the beneficiary of socio-economic development are level 1 and level 2. So basically, it's 51% or more Black-owned entities. Yeah. Yes, so that way they can ensure themselves that they'll score points on that if they empower, and ensure that they empower an entity that is Black-owned. Yeah. Yes, and be compliant. They must also provide the SON affidavit, whereby it indicates that they are Black-owned. Yes.
And I think just to close our conversation on socioeconomic development, how is that element of B-BBEE meant to amplify all of the other elements such as skills and ESD and management and control? Because when you do plow into a community and you give them the ability to create income generating opportunities, that obviously needs skills that can sometimes contribute to starting a small business and being an enterprise. So how important is socioeconomic development in the B-BBEE Act for supporting all of the other elements of the Act itself?
It's actually very important because firstly, when we say it must generate income, it means already someone's gonna be employed, someone is gonna get paid, so someone is also gonna be trained in order to perform those performances, in order to generate that income. So it increases employment, it increases training and also the knowledge when it comes to human resources. So it increases a lot of things. The economy grows based on socioeconomic development. Yeah. So it is a very important element whereby firstly ownership, where a company is owned firstly, in order for them to be granted that grant or that machinery, there must be a company that complies with BEE and also a registered company. Yeah. So already ownership is there. There's a tick at ownership. Also, the person will own the business and control what's happening within the company. So management control is also ticked. So there's skills development training also, it will also be ticked up on the list. So it supports many other elements as well. So it's very important.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time, and just for redefining what socio-economic development means. It's not just for charity purposes, but it's for giving people the ability to fish for themselves after you've helped them catch a fish. And so we appreciate your time. We appreciate you for watching throughout the series. It has been a journey of learning about the B-BBEE Act and the B-BBEE Commission and its work. If you are an enterprise that is looking at investing in communities, take advantage of the socio-economic development part of the scorecard, not just for BEE points, but for investing in our communities. I'll leave it there and I'll see you next time.